Almost, it's so big.
Thank you. I wanted to call the meeting to order. Thank you, no, I just thought I don't have welcoming protocols. So since you are Miss Protocol and probably want to share your wisdom and know from organizing the opening event of FestPac, I'll ask you to help us start the meeting.
Sure. Aloha mai kako. Welcome everybody. Welcome all of our followers and our community on YouTube who are watching this very important meeting of Mauna Kea Stewardship and Oversight Authority. I'll just maybe share a little bit of what I'm experiencing here at FestPac amongst the thousands of delegates and even more thousands and thousands of family and friends and community who have come here to Hawaii to participate in this cultural exchange. And it really is a once in a lifetime experience for all of us. I think for me, the overriding message that I hear from all of the delegations in their presentation is care for our planet Earth, care for our oceans, care for our land, care for the places that feed us and sustain us as not only as Native peoples, but as people of the earth. And I think that is the same mission that we have here for this authority. And so every message I've heard has resounded with me about the important work that we're doing here. So I just want to share that with everybody. And then we'll just do real quickly the chant that helps us to center and make sure that we're asking for the wisdom that we all need to move not only in today's meeting, but in the days to come and in our daily work for the people. So I'll do a homai and then we'll begin. E homai ka ike mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no e au, o na mele. E homai, e homai. E ho mai e a, e ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no e au, o na mele. E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai e a. E ho mai, ka ike mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no i au, o na mele. E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai e. Mahalo.
Mahalo for your insight and words of wisdom, as well as for the opening protocols. Try to let you know in advance next time. So could those of you that are virtually raise your hand if you are alone in whatever room or vehicle that you're attending the meeting from. Thank you. With that, I don't believe that we have any public comment on the agenda item, and I'll continue to ask for that as we go through the various agenda items. With that, I'm going to move to the minutes, approve the minutes, and it's confusing.
Yeah, this is
Yeah. We were getting rid of one of our screens. One of our screens is on delay, so. Okay, thank you. So I know that there are some more technical amendments to the community meeting shared by some of us. But other than that, the technical amendments, could I get a motion to approve the minutes of the May 9th regular meeting as well as a May 9th community meeting. Subject to those technical amendments. Okay, a second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? Not, the minutes, standing corrected with the technical amendment. With that, I wanted to go to the chair's report. Summary of the community talk story session. For those that weren't able to attend, we have pretty detailed minutes that reflect the community talk story session. I want to thank everybody that participated. I think it was a great session where we had very open and candid discussion between various perspectives about Mauna Kea, about TMT, about astronomy. But the most important thing to me was the I guess the context, the culture, how we were able to create that meeting where we had and talked about very difficult issues, but we did it very respectfully to each other's perspective. My hope is that we can continue to do those meetings and in fact, figure out ways to encourage others to attend the meeting so we can continue to have those
Did we freeze up there?
I think everyone in the room did, but not us.
Hey, I lost the audio. That's what I just chatted.
Yeah, no, it was actually that the Dofa Hilo room went down. They froze up.
Oh, okay.
But all of us virtual people are fine.
I did try to charge my computer, but I left my room with only 50% charge and it's down to 38% already. So
Wow.
I'll stay as long as I can. I bet we're gonna have to all get off and have them reboot and get back on. Probably, but we'll wait for instructions.
No, I'm going to use that to expedite future meetings that I attend of other organizations. We only have limited battery life.
You know, the gods are with us. We have things to do today. Goodness, let me text. Rich,
Yeah.
pack ends on the 17th, 16th,
Okay.
but like at midnight.
Yeah. Give you a couple days to catch up on sleep
And
before.
end of next week. I won't even be home until the 19th. So
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me text Puena.
Yeah, how many people come from outside Hawaii to FestPac?
Oh heavens, I'm not exactly
Thousands.
sure.
Or, huh?
We were looking at tens of thousands.
Wow. So
There's
cool.
about there's somewhere between somewhere around 2,500 official delegates, but there are hundreds that are still here and are participating and exhibiting that are not necessarily official delegates.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's so
So
amazing.
you should see the traffic. Like people park at the Ala Moana Shopping Center
Mm.
and it looks like a Tokyo street. The lights turn, it's like loaded, people just walking everywhere, trying to get to the convention center. Yeah,
Awesome.
there's buses, kinds of traffic is enormous.
It's pretty nuts. I'm still up here too, but I have hardly attended because of traffic, and it's a madhouse trying to get to any one event. But I mean, it's cool. It's like it's that heavily attended. My country itself. I'm like, I can't do this.
I know. It's overwhelming sometimes. And it's all simultaneous, so you just have to pick a spot and be in it.
Noi,
Yeah.
this is Doug.
Hi,
Hello.
Doug.
Hi. So we're, as is probably evident to everyone there, we are having technical difficulties here reconnecting. So we're in the process of doing that. So we are in currently a recess, if I can speak. So for the getting the nod from the chair. Okay.
Do
Alrighty.
they want us to log out and then log back in?
Have to wait.
So the idea is if you could just hold on for a moment. Okay.
Buildings.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Buildings. Nobody else has.
All right, so we're learning that our building is down in terms of the connectivity. So I seem to be, no, I'm not the only one with the phone, obviously, but I guess we're figuring out what we're going to do. So I'm going to go on mute here while that's being done.
Okay, thank you, Doug. So while I'm waiting, I can entertain you. I'm at Bishop Museum, and here they have a carver's village and a tattooer's village, which is right adjoining because it's the same function on different material. And then today is Va'a Day at Bishop Museum. So there's all the small canoes are being brought in right now. And there will be presentations throughout the entire day that end with a tribute to Papa Mau and his family this afternoon and evening, and concert and presentation by all of the different canoe ohana, canoe groups in Hawaii. So quite a big event happening. Yeah, and parking is a premium.
Many of you probably know the story of Hokulea, but it was built in 1974 with funding from the American Bicentennial, which had monies for each state to have a project. And our project was to build Hokulea. And the thought was that it would go to Tahiti once and come back maybe, if we could prove that. And look at the enduring return on that investment. And not only what it's done for Hawaii voyaging, but what it's done in sparking the rekindling of voyaging across the Pacific. And the 2 days of our Malamahonu Ocean Summit was just tremendously inspiring. And to your point earlier, Noi, it began with a call from the pool navigators led by Onohi, actually. He says, today we erase the lines. This Polynesia, Melanesia, Micronesia, those lines don't really exist. And especially in a natural state, and a young lady shared research about migratory species, we think in these terrestrial boundaries of, 200 mile or 50 mile or 20 mile and so forth, jurisdiction and so forth. The animals aren't paying attention to that. the elements aren't paying attention. There are systems, and you got to think in terms of how do you manage the systems, and control and protect the systems, not just your little turf. And so it's really, and so we all have to work together. And Rapa Nui has done some amazing protective work in their area, and the people from Sarawal said, "Well, we're trying to do that, and we don't understand the palapala, and can you help us right away?" Exchanging documents and offering consultation and so forth. It was really, really beautiful. And Sylvia Earle there, speaking at a more global level as an ocean elder. It was a pretty amazing experience.
How many Va'a came from elsewhere to here or to Hawaii?
No, how many?
There were two big ones, Fa'afaitai from Tahiti and Marumaru Atua came from the Cook Islands. But there are a number of small vessels that were shipped over, barged in. So I know that two came from Aotearoa with Hoturoa. Bucky Kerr, he brought two of his, Pumai and Tatai Hono. And some of the others are here as well. So yeah, it's really, really exciting. And even more than just the physical vessels are the people, that we also refer to as the Va'a. Yeah, they're here in dress, in their native attire, their formal native attire that they wear and perform. They've been performing all over Oahu. So it's really been a fabulous experience.
Hey, so I wanted to share something too. So I'm headed back. I'm actually in Denver now. Oh, looks like we got a message incoming from Doug.
Okay.
Doug, you wanted to update us? Oh, maybe not.
No. I had turned off. No. I had turned off my.
Okay.
You're hearing lots of different things, so I'm turning off my sound, and I think we're all going to do that, and we use just the one computer for audio, but we're all going to be using our own personal devices for the video. So that's happening right now.
Okay. Anyway, I'll fill you guys in later, but it was to do with protection of dark skies. Some very important information, but I'll fill you guys in. Bye-bye.
Disconnect audio.
So you might have to mute and talk from this. We can only have one audio.
Yeah, so just talk to this.
Yes. So I gotta mute.
Is John talking to us?
I'm not sure.
Oh, should
Can you hear now?
Oh, were you talking to us this whole time? Oh, we didn't know. Sorry.
Oh, no, I gotta rethink the wisdom that I was,
Oh, shucks.
only comes once in a while, you know. Once I say once I say it's gone. Okay, so anyway, for those of you that didn't understand what I said the first time, nah, just kidding. Wait, somebody got to mute because we're getting feedback here.
Might be this too.
No, yeah. Hello? Okay, let's try. So what happened at the community meeting was very, very important because it allowed people to share perspectives in a very professional, not professional, but a very calm way. I think we on all sides cleared up some misconceptions. So the idea is to continue on with those type of community meetings and hopefully expand the number of participants in that meeting. Having said that, the more we expand, the more risk we take that the meeting sort of gets out of control. But that's a risk that I think is well worth taking. So we'll continue to do that. I don't know if you heard John DeFries, but there was a technical issue about the location of the meetings. So he wanted to apologize for that incorrect posting of where the meeting was to be held. We tried to remedy that by sending someone up to Imiloa to redirect people to the School for Hawaiian Languages. But we figured out a way to address that. There's also an issue regarding the audio on the recording, and we're going to address that issue also. But I guess at the end of the day, the meeting was very, very worthwhile, and we hope to continue and expand participation. So with that, I was going to go to talk about the National Science Foundation. The National Science Foundation had a team in town a couple of weeks ago, and they asked to meet with myself and John DeFries. So we met with the team, and the report that I want to provide to you is that the National Science Foundation is embarked in two separate initiatives. One dealing specifically with funding of TMT, but the other initiative, which they wanted to talk to us about, has broader implications for indigenous people across the United States. In 2021, President Biden issued an order directing all of the federal government agencies to engage and better engage with indigenous people across the country. So one of the purposes of this National Science Foundation coming to Hawaii is that they've been going from island to island, meeting with Native Hawaiians. They didn't tell us who or what islands they've gone to further come up with a plan about how, in general, in all aspects of the science that they support, they can better engage with Native Hawaiians. So they just wanted to inform us that is a separate process. The second process that they were going to talk about, which is a Section 106 hearings. What Section 106 hearings are is that in terms of funding projects such as TMT, the NSF is required to go through certain processes which require hearings here in Hawaii about whether they should fund TMT or not. So the point of the meeting that we had with them was for them to explain that they have these two separate processes that are going. It's unclear when they're going to have those 106 hearings. My guess is that either at the end of summer or fall, they'll start trying to come up with a schedule to have those hearings. So anyway, that I just want to disclose to all of you that at their request, we met with them. I don't know if anyone has any questions about our meeting.
When it pertains to their TMT funding, did they mention any details as to the kind of what their process is, or where they're at right now, specific to TMT?
No. We do know, and this is more from reading media, I guess, as opposed to from them, is that there is now the National Science Foundation Board, which apparently governs the National Science Foundation, has made a determination or has come to a conclusion that they only have sufficient funds to fund one of the two telescopes, either the telescope in Chile or the telescope in Hawaii, TMT. So they created a process, started a process where they're going to try to compare the two telescopes and decide on which telescope they believe that they can fund. That process, I think, comes to a head in September of this year. In terms of, I believe that it's going to be presented to the board or to someone at National Science Foundation to determine. But that's about all that we know. We didn't discuss that process at all with them.
Hey, John, I'm just attended a American Astronomical Society meeting, and someone from NSF, the AST Division Director Astronomy, and I forget what the acronym stands for, but gave an update and said that in the July timeframe, the two major projects, the ones you mentioned, are having a review meeting with NSF as part of that determination that you talked about. So I don't think they're making any decisions or anything, but I believe the projects are presenting to the NSF their current status in July.
Right. And I'm not exactly sure how this process interfaces with the United States Senate, which had a proviso saying that no, NSF will fund two telescopes. So I don't know what's happening in terms of the politics between NSF and the United States Senate. So anyway, that's the latest, and that's what we know. Any other questions or comments about NSF or that process? Okay. Thank you. There's nothing to report on governance or no agenda items. So I wanted to move to the next item, which is administration and the report of the executive director, John DeFries.
Thank you, Chair. Taking that agenda item, I'm going to work in reverse by first explaining that we currently have 4 candidates for the program specialist position. We will commence with interviews in the second week of July for that position. In the administrative services officer category, we actually have 17 candidates for that. In the last board meeting, you got to meet Lloyd Unebasami, who's serving as the interim ASO. Lloyd and I had an opportunity to meet with Greg Chun and his leadership team on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of May. It was certainly our first opportunity to get an understanding of the breadth and depth of the work that's being done there by their team of 54, 55 staff people. I want to thank Greg and his team for not only the time they took, but the effort they put into it. Lloyd and I both left those meetings impressed with the people who are actually doing the work in those departments. Lloyd will be participating with me in determining among the 17 who will move into the first round of interviews. I expect that to take place in the first or second week of July as well. In the project director position, there were 6 candidates, of which 3 were moved into the interview rounds. And there was a clear leader in that group. Yesterday afternoon, last evening, you should have received a memorandum from me through Pua'ena that announced that effective July 8th, the new project director for the authority is Bill Stormont. And I'm going to ask Bill to come forward and introduce himself and make a few comments of his own. Thank you, Bill.
There I am. Great. Yeah. Okay. Aloha. Executive Director DeFries, thank you. Chair Komiji and members of the board. My name is Bill Stormont. I appreciate this opportunity that I've been provided to return to Mauna Kea in a management role. I have a deep relationship with the mountain. It goes back a lot of years. 48 summers ago, I was building fences on Mauna Kea and building trails on Pu'uhuluhulu as a high schooler in the Youth Conservation Corps program. I saw that summer that the endeavor of conservation and natural resources management in these islands was something that I wanted to pursue as a career. And it's been a wonderful ride for me. I won't go into any more depth than that, but it's just that I just wanted to share that it's been some time that a long time that I've had this great ride of an opportunity, and to be able to come back and work on the resources and caring for the summit of Mauna Kea is a very, very a cherished opportunity. And so I appreciate it greatly. You have the information that was forwarded, my resume, the cover letter that I shared when I applied for the job, and Mr. DeFries's note to you all. At some point in time, I look forward to shaking each other's hands, every one of you, spending time on the mountain with you, and sharing what I have to bring. And I look forward to working with there's a remarkable team that's been assembled as we move forward in this next phase of caring for the summit of Mauna Kea. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any at this point.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill. All right. Just one final note. I also want to thank all the candidates in every category for caring enough about Mauna Kea and about the authority to actually apply and compete. And so part of my reason for moving the program specialist interviews back to the second week of July is so that Bill can participate in the round of interviews that will occur. So thank you, Chair. Any questions? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Executive Director and Mr. Stormont. We appreciate. I look forward to working with Mr. Stormont. He brings a wealth of experience in conservation as well, in particular to Mauna Kea. For those of you that are not part of the board, his resume also includes that he was also the leader of, I'm not sure what the organization was called, but they actually had responsibility for conservation and management of the Mauna. So he has had that management experience before. So we're very fortunate to have him join our team. And like you said, at some point, he'd like to sit down with each of you to further introduce himself and get your thoughts and any ideas that you might have about how we move forward. So thank you. Finance, nothing to report on finance. Operational update. We're going to ask Executive Director Greg Chun from CMS to give his update. How are you going to do that?
Oh, do you need
How are we going to do that? I'm not sure how, maybe you got to go it out in the slide.
I was just gonna ask people to look at their handouts.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Aloha, everyone. Good to see you. Thanks for your time. Due to our technical difficulties, I'm going to ask if you folks can refer to your handouts, the handout that was included in your board material. I just have a few slides that I'll walk you through. First thing I wanted to just update you folks on is the status. Oh, okay. All right, we were able to get it on screen. Can you all see that? Yeah, okay.
I don't know, Ron. I don't know who's that. Somebody else posted it. Somebody else posted it.
Oh, really? You can't move it.
Yeah.
You gotta tell them to move it.
Okay, okay. All right, so whoever is controlling the screen, you can go to the cultural artifacts slide. I wanted to update you folks on the status of this matter. I briefed you on it before. So just quickly to recap, when the university conducted the archaeological survey that it did on our leased lands back in 2009, there was some material from the ads work sites that are on our leased lands that were collected for additional study. The university has been housing that material in our offices at CMS here in Hilo. By the way, that inventory, all of that material has been inventoried and is included in the repository that we have provided the authority's long-term asset transfer working group. As I mentioned previously, we have no need to keep this material further. We'd like to keep some material for educational purposes, but seek some other curatorship or disposition option. Because the material was collected from UH leased lands, technically the state DLNR has responsibility for this material and has final say on what should be done with it. So we reached out initially to SHPD to discuss the matter. We've just had email communication at this point, but they've indicated a desire to transfer ownership to UH. There are several issues with this option for the university that we need to discuss with SHPD and you folks, along with Kahukumauna and our own general counsel. Specifically, the major issue is something like this would probably trigger NAGPRA on behalf of UH. So, we're not wanting to get into any of that kind of situation, but also because of the transition, we didn't feel like that's a decision that we should be making ourselves. So I'll be working with Executive Director DeFries to discuss, how we should proceed with this matter. We have not had any follow-up communications at this point with SHPD since the initial communication. So everything is kind of in hold. They said they would get back to us, but they had, as I indicated, they had requested or indicated their desire to transfer ownership. I can take questions on this matter at this time, or I can move on.
Could I perhaps maybe also offer that in that conversation, myself and maybe Auntie Noi Noi could be involved with that, as you know, this is getting into a realm of cultural practitioner stewardship and care that has never been acknowledged prior, and I think that's something we want to do differently now. I think that's something that we should that we'd like to be included on in the discussion on the care of these artifacts moving forward, where we can definitely offer mana'otu, as well as there are ko'i practitioners alive and well today. And you know, there's especially, like, I know it's dialogue in the conferences and stuff right now too, and we have such artifacts that are quote unquote.
Lonnie Keela,
Yes.
1 second. We lost you here. If you can just hold on a second.
Lanakila kako'o. Wow.
Check 1 2. Check 3 4.
Okay, Lana Kiwa, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Lost you about a minute ago, so you have to kind of repeat.
Okay. So I was just asking if it's possible for myself and Auntie Noi Noi to be involved in that conversation on how to malama these artifacts from probably the time of there's been a lot of movement in this type of stuff, as well as cultural practitioners consultation and such matters, which probably haven't quite been addressed prior. As well as, you know, just, there's movement in dialogue today when it comes to museums and different stuff on quote unquote artifacts that were found in their places that they were originally left. So there's discussions on that, and not to mention there's a very healthy community of active living practitioners of ko'i today. And they're actually well at work right now at Bishop Museum. So I think if it's possible, I think it'd be great for myself and Auntie Noi Noi maybe, and maybe any others to be part of that conversation on ideas on how to steward and care for these artifacts moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's whoever from the authority wants to participate, that's for you folks to decide. But yeah, we'll make sure to keep you folks involved in that. Any other questions on this matter?
Is there a timing? Is there a timeline that you have, or is that going to be
No,
contingent?
no timeline. Right now, it's just exploratory.
Ray, can I ask a question? This is this is an archaeological inventory of cultural artifacts. Has the university also done a larger cultural inventory that may have taken into account non-physical cultural assets, such as mo'olelo and so forth, and created a repository of that for the Mauna?
The most complete repository of that sort of information that we have is a report that we commissioned Kepa to conduct for us. That is on our website. There's 2 volumes, I think it is. So in there, he has collected and archived a bunch of the not only the traditional mo'olelo, but also the oral histories that he conducted as part of that assessment. That's the most complete piece of work that we have conducted. That was done back in 04, 05, 06, something in that range.
But it's protected, it's accessible for research purposes, and do we add to it as more information is found?
we have not added to that report. It probably could be updated, but we've not conducted, done that.
Mahalo.
Any other questions on that item? Okay, if none, if we could move on to the next slide. Not sure who is controlling things. Bokuke decommissioning. The project is essentially completed. The UH Hilo Facilities Group, who has been the project manager for the project, conducted their final site inspection with the contractor on May 30th. The project has been deemed substantially complete. There's one little piece of work that the engineers are going to come up and check tomorrow. We don't anticipate any issues with that. So we are preparing a report on the completion of the project that we have to submit to OCCL. So you have some photos here of what the project site looks like now without the observatories. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Is the project completed to the concrete pad, or is the concrete pad been removed and anything underneath of that inspected?
The concrete pad has been removed. There was soil inspections, nothing found. The pedestal, the concrete pedestal that the telescope sat on has also been removed. And all of the concrete material has been taken off the Mauna.
And can you please describe where the material, the fill material came from?
We were fortunate that we didn't have to bring in too much fill material, but the fill material came from an area right below the CSO work site, actually, where there has been material stored from previous projects in the past. So the material is all from the Mauna as well.
Okay, mahalo nui.
Yeah. You can move on to the next slide, please. CSO decommissioning. This photo that I included on this slide is dated. This was last week. In fact, they are almost complete with all of the foundation removal, all of the concrete, and then they will start site grading and restoration, I believe, next week. So that project is moving along ahead of schedule as well. We've had a good stretch of good weather, which has helped. They're now thinking that they will be complete. The project will be completed by the end of July, so ahead of schedule. Nothing else to report on that one. Any questions? You can go on our website, by the way, and go to the Mauna Kea Weather Center, and you can look at the webcam live stream of the site. It's a Subaru live stream, and you can see what it looks like in real time. Okay, and the next slide, please. As John indicated, we conducted and met with Lloyd and Executive Director DeFries, 22nd to the 24th. Did a comprehensive overview that some of you have had an opportunity to hear from us in the past of our operations. They also had a chance to meet all of the managers up at Halepohaku and get a better sense of what each department does. In addition to that, Lloyd joined us on June 5th for the Mauna Kea Shared Services Oversight Committee. This is a committee of observatory representatives who approves the budget for the shared services part of our operation. So John had a chance, Lloyd had a chance to sit in on that, meet those people. They were very, very appreciative of the time that they had with Lloyd. And I believe Lloyd is coming to the office this afternoon after this meeting to spend more time with Nahua and Rodrigo on some of the financial questions that he has about our budget. So we'll continue to meet as needed and as many times as needed to help Lloyd and John get up to speed, and now Bill as well. I think that concludes, but I do have my formal presentation. One FYI update. As part of our comprehensive management plan that's approved by the land board, we're required to do a status update annually. I received word that that's been scheduled for June 28th at their land board meeting. So I'll be providing updates specifically on the management plan itself, some of the stewardship activities, as well as or just a variety of things highlighting major accomplishments for the year. So I just want to make sure you folks knew about that as well. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Any question? Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Greg. Thank you, Greg. With that, that concludes the items on the agenda. I don't know if anyone has any questions about those, what we've already covered. If not, I'm going to entertain a motion for us to go into executive session. And the reason for that is to consult with Attorney General's office regarding the implications of the case Kanahele versus the state of Hawaii. That case, a Supreme Court, the Hawaii State Supreme Court, 2 weeks ago, I believe, issued an opinion in regards to that. We have with us, I believe, Ewan Rayner. There he is. So Ewan, we're going to put us all into executive session once I get a motion and second, and we vote on going into executive session. So could I get a motion?
I move, this is 99, move that we move to executive session.
This is Paul, second.
Okay, thank you. And the motion, as I understand it, is that we're convening an executive session pursuant to section 92-5A3 to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues pertaining to the authority's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities, and specifically as to the legal implications of Kanahele versus state of Hawaii. So all those in favor, raise your hand, please. Any opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
John, I'm going to assume that I'm going to last time I will check out since I'm not an authority member yet.
Yeah, thank you very much, Neil.
Okay, thank you. Aloha, everybody.
We'll do better. You can do better. Okay.
So do we have to do anything given that they're having technical difficulties, or how does this work?
Good question.
I think they're trying to put us.
Oh,
into-
there it is. Join the
There you
breakout.
go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. We're out of executive session. During executive session, as our previous motion indicated, we discussed the legal implications and potential path forward of the Kanakaole versus state case as it relates to the portion of the Mauna Kea access road, which traverses Hawaiian homelands. With that, the only announcements that we have is our next meeting is on July 9th, 2024. Here, same time, at the DOFA office in Hilo. We will, for August meeting, I think our August meeting be another one where we may have a meeting in conjunction with a community meeting again. So anyway, stay tuned for that. We'll figure out a better way, but want to let people know that we'll probably have a community meeting soon too. So with that, if I could get a motion to adjourn. Let me, before you get the motion, thanks Kapua for helping us along with Poiana for helping us get through some of the technical difficulties that we've had. With that, if I could get a motion to adjourn.
I know I'm so moved, adjourn.
Second, Lana Kila second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Not. Okay, thank you, everyone.